Can you play chords on a bass? Absolutely. Yes. It's not very common, at least not from what I've seen, especially since playing rock and metal for, nearly 20 years. You don't really see chords too often being strummed on the bass. However, there are some exceptions to this. Steve Harris from Iron Maiden, he plays chords quite a bit. And his favorite chord to play, which I think is a fairly popular and easy chord to play on the bass, if you could say there's a popular chord, is a fifth chord or a power chord. So sometimes you can use 2 fingers or you can use 3 fingers, but basically, let's just start down here. So let's use A as our root notes. If you wanted to do this, it's a great way to fatten up some bass lines. So if you want to play a power chord, you start with your index finger, let's say 5th fret on the E string, and then you can use your ring finger or pinky on the 7th fret of the A string, and you got yourself a power chord there. So also being a guitar player, I'm used to positioning my hand like I'm holding a pick and I strum with my fingernail, but you can also strum with your thumb. I've seen guys do that. Sometimes you kind of flick the strings this way, or if you're using a pick, just strum with the pick. So you can also do the 3-string version, so where you're going to hold 5, 7, and 7. So you get your 1st finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger, so that can make the bass line sound even bigger. So just as, or just for an example, let's say you're just going something like this. So you're starting on your A, go to B, 7th fret, and C on the 8th fret, 10th fret, you're on D. So now you can use the 5th chords to fatten it up. Or use the 3-string version to make it even bigger. String one's definitely a bit of a challenge, especially with how big the strings and frets are on the bass. It will require a bit of hand strength, so if you can't do it right away, but you really like the sound of it, just practice it just like anything else, and eventually you'll have the strength to be able to do that. So other chords that I like to use are these 2-finger chords or 2-note chords, sometimes called dyads. Or some people might refer to them as just intervals, but basically they're 2 different notes. So, and I always say, if you got at least 2 different notes, you basically have a chord. So anyway, you can do stuff like this. So we use A as our root note again. So you can play a major dyad or a 2-finger major chord like this. So you got middle finger on 5, 1st finger on 4. It might be a little easier to hear at a higher pitch. It's basically a happier sound to it. You can also do a minor dyad to where you're playing 5th frets on the E string again. You can use your ring finger, and then 1st finger will be on the 3rd fret on the A string. So that pattern right there, putting your hand in that position, will produce a minor sound, which is typically associated with sad things. So you got your minor, and you got your major. So you can slide that shape around anywhere you want for a major sound. You can slide this minor shape around for a minor sound anywhere that you want. So let's take, for example, what we did earlier, using your A notes, B notes, C notes, and D notes. So I'm going to base this in the key of A minor, and I will use a minor dyad for the A, and then we also use a minor one for the B, major on C, minor on D. The reason why I chose those, because keeping it in the key of A minor, those are the spacings or intervals that will happen naturally in key. So I'll play just the root notes again, and then use the 2-finger major and 2-finger minor chords. hear a bit of difference there. So I'm going to play it an octave higher, the same thing, and because sometimes it sounds nice to play, you know, a bass line on the higher strings. So here we go. And sometimes when doing chords like that, it might be beneficial to play it at a higher octave, so this way the different notes sound out a little bit better. So, I mean, there are other things that I like to do, such as like a type of 7th chord to where you're playing the root, 3rd, and 7 at the same time. So something like this has a minor 7 sound to it. Really like that sound. So building this, starting on the E or A string, you got 7th fret, D string you have 5th fret, G string you got the 7th fret. And then you can also do a major 7 sound here. You got your 8th fret on the A string, 7th fret on the D string, 9th fret on the G string. I just really like the way those sound. You kind of move them around to different areas. So you know what key you're in and how these things go together. It allows you to make a lot more creative stuff. And right there, that's a bit of a dominant 7 sound. So that one would be 10th fret on the A string, 9th fret on the D, 10 on the G. And this is all based in the key of A minor. So you can move those shapes around any way that you want. So if you want to move around the minor 7 shape, it's just anywhere you play this on your, it's on 4-string bass, you got the minor 7 sound. Same thing, you're moving this around, it's always going to be a major 7. Anywhere you move this would be your dominant 7, and so on. So I'll stop there with examples, but there's definitely a lot more that you can do. And it's kind of nice to like hold that chord shape while you're playing a bass line. You can really add a whole new element to what you're playing, instead of just playing single notes the entire time. So hopefully these are some examples that can help you in your music creations. And if you have any questions about these chords, if you'd like me to go into more detail about other chords you can play, why these chords work in key, or you know, arpeggios that can be done on the bass as well, that's something I plan on doing in the future. Just a lot of different arpeggios, because sometimes, you know, on a bass you're fairly limited on chords you can strum. Even if you were using the 6-string bass, I mean, that thing's, you know, the neck's so big you can't hold like a regular G chord like you would on your typical electric guitar or acoustic guitar. It's just too big. It'd be a pain in the butt, and it also probably wouldn't sound too good. It probably sounded way too low. But anyway, well, if you like what you heard in this video, I'd appreciate you leaving a thumbs up. And again, if you have any questions about this or anything at all with the bass, please let me know, and thank you for watching.